Thank you so much for joining, everyone. My name is Lacey Fontaine. I'm one of the career advisors at George Brown, generally based out of St. James campus, but coming at you virtually from my living room. Today we have a great presentation for you. We have Sophia Dritzis joining us from the Ontario Chamber of Commerce to talk a little bit more about DiscoverAbility Network. If you've joined us before on any of the DiscoverAbility presentations, you may already be familiar, but for, is there background talking? There shouldn't be. I'm going to try. Hopefully that's better. Can you confirm if that is still the case? Okay. So we have some comment in the chat saying that they don't hear anything in the background. Hopefully there's no more background noise. So we do have Sophia Dritzis joining us from the Ontario Chamber of Commerce to talk about DiscoverAbility Network. If you're new to DiscoverAbility Network, there's going to be a little bit of an introduction on that. But today we are primarily going to be focusing on the actual profile build itself on DiscoverAbility Network. So creating your online profile to really showcase what you're bringing to the table. So I want to thank Sophia for joining us today. We also have our captioner, Cindy Thompson, joining us today. For those of you who prefer to have captions, you will have already been prompted to turn those on. If not, you may see a ribbon at the top of your screen asking if you would like to have that enabled. So Mel, if you see the banner at the top, you will see a prompt that asks you to allow or decline the caption option. All right, so Sophia, I'm going to turn it over to you to introduce yourself, and in the meantime, Mel, I'm gonna try and assist you while Sophia is introducing herself.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lacey, and thanks for having me today, and thank you for everyone for joining in today as well. So as mentioned, my name is Sophia Dritzis, and I am from the Ontario Chamber of Commerce. I'm a programs manager, and I'm going to be talking about the DiscoverAbility Network. So for some of you, this may be a little bit of a review, but for anyone who isn't familiar with the program, I will start off with a brief overview of what it is, how it works, and some of the benefits, and then the bulk of our time will be spent going through a live demo on how to create your profile. So let's get started with what the DiscoverAbility Network is. So basically, just to give you some background, the DiscoverAbility Network first started about 4 to 5 years ago, and it was primarily started just as a job matching platform, very similar to something like LinkedIn, where you can create a profile, add your summaries and that sort of thing. But the difference with the DiscoverAbility Network is it is specifically for job seekers with disabilities, and the employers that we connect with are specifically looking to connect with job seekers with disabilities. So over the years, the program has evolved. So we now offer free training on disability disclosure accommodations in the workplace, as well as networking events that connect employers to job seekers with disabilities. We also have weekly job seeker webinars, and we have a monthly newsletter for job seekers where we keep everyone informed of upcoming events or potential job opportunities. So I'll talk a little bit more about some of the ones that we have coming up, just so that you're familiar with what we have in the pipeline for the rest of March. So how does the DiscoverAbility Network work? So it's designed for both job seekers and employers. So as a job seeker, you're going to select the job seeker button and really just get started by creating your profile. So your profile is what's used to showcase your skills and qualifications and get matched to job opportunities. Once you complete your profile, which includes uploading your resume, filling in your name, your email, and all that kind of basic information, you're going to start getting matched to job opportunities. If your profile is matched to a job opportunity, you're going to receive job invitations. You can review all the job opportunities that you're matched to and apply to the jobs you're interested in. Your profile will remain private until you apply. So next, you're going to get notified. So once you've applied to a job that you've been matched to, you're going to receive notifications after an employer views your profile and decides to connect with you. The notification is going to be sent to you via email. So that's basically how the program works in a nutshell. So what are some of the benefits of the program itself? So for one, it's free. It's a free platform for both job seekers and employers. You'll have access to many different tools and resources as well. You'll also have access to networking opportunities, as I mentioned, free training. And again, like I said, I'll go over a little bit more of some of the things we have coming up. But I think one of the biggest benefits with the platform is the option to self-identify. So when you self-identify as a person with a disability, you can get matched to exclusive opportunities that cannot be accessed without self-declaration. As I mentioned in the beginning, the employers that are connecting with the DiscoverAbility Network are specifically looking to hire candidates with disabilities. So that's one of the biggest benefits in itself. And then aside from that, I would say the last benefit is really that it's just a constantly growing network. And we're always working with new employers very regularly. So that's basically the program and the benefits. So now what I want to do is I'm going to just start with my demo. So to go to the site, you're going to basically go to www.discoverability.network. So rather than me showing you like a bunch of screenshots now, I'm going to actually show you live. So I'm going to share my screen and show you how to go about doing that. So just give me a second and I'm going to get that started.
Sophia, while you're loading that, we have a question in the chat asking if this platform is for disabilities, then why filter for disabilities in the profile build?
Because self-declaration is it's optional, it's voluntary, so you don't necessarily have to. And we do have many job seekers who prefer not to self-disclose. So you know, we can't make candidates disclose. That's something that that they would have to voluntarily do.
Right, but if they wanted to opt into the inclusive opportunities, they would have to self-disclose to opt into those?
Yeah, so you can change your self-declaration at any time, and I'll show you how to do that when I do the demo. Like, I'll show you how you can go in there and update that information. Perfect. So you don't necessarily have to do it like right away. You can change that.
Thank you.
No problem. So can everyone see my screen at this point?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So to get started, basically you're going to go to discoverability.network and you're going to click the job seeker button. So it says I am a job seeker. I'm going to click that. And then it says choose your region. So there's several different regions here. There's Ontario, Hamilton, Ottawa, Sault Ste. Marie, Windsor, Essex, Halton Peel, Kingston, Sarnia-Lambton, and Toronto. If your region, like where you're located, let's say you're in Mississauga or Brampton, whatever, if say it's not here, you're just going to click Ontario, and then you're going to click enter now. We'll wait for that to load up. Now on the next screen that comes up, we're going to click the yellow button that says find job opportunities. And then this is where we would sign in if you already have an account, or if you don't, then you're going to click create an account. So this platform is powered by Magnet. So that's what I mean. If you already have a Magnet account, then you are going to sign in with that same login information. It's just going to ensure that it ties you to the DiscoverAbility Network when you log in through here. So if you don't have an account, as I said, you're going to click create an account and join as and you're going to select from the drop-down menu, and you're going to select job seeker. Once you click Job Seeker, it's going to ask you to fill in your first name, your last name, your email, confirm your email, create your password, enter your postal code and your location, and then you're just going to click Sign Up. So for the purpose of our demo today, I'm going to go into like a demo site. So I'm going to go into that. So basically what would happen after you complete all of this information, you click Sign Up, you're going to receive an email from Magnet, and it's going to ask you to confirm or activate your account. And so it's going to basically bring you to something like this. So once you go to that email and you activate it, it's going to say, welcome to the Magnet community on Magnet. We invite you to embark on your career journey with us, connect to opportunities with employers looking to hire top talent. So we're just going to click Next. And now it's saying your first step is to personalize your profile with your education, skills, and experience to get matched to exciting job opportunities. So again, we're just going to click Next here. And then we're going to start by filling in some basic profile information. So for this, because I'm in the demo site, my demo account is John Doe, so it's already pre-populated for me, and it would have pre-populated this for you as well based on the initial information you put in when you were creating like your account on the first screen that I showed you. So then we're going to enter our postal code, our location. I'm just going to say I'm in Toronto, and I'm going to click Save and Continue. So now it says, let's get matched to opportunities. So I can either upload my resume or create it here, just create my profile. So I'm going to just upload a resume. I have a like a mock resume to show here. I will show you. Give me 1 second. So I've uploaded my resume now, and I'm going to click Next. Okay, so on this screen, it says Education and Work Experience. So it says complete a work experience or an education record to start getting matched to job opportunities. You'll be able to add more records later. So basically, I can only do one at a time. So I'm just going to start with education record, and then I'll show you what I mean when I have to go back in after to do the next one, to do the work experience. So here it says, this is just basically pulled from the resume that I just uploaded now, the mock resume that I uploaded. So it says, it's got my school name, education level, current status is graduate, faculty, main focus. So on my resume, it said I was a personal service worker. So I'm gonna start to type in here. So this is a very extensive list that is going to have like various programs. So if you start typing, like your program should come up. So I'm just going to start to type personal support worker came up. So healthcare practitioners and technology, that's the one I wanted. And on my resume, it said that I started in, I believe it was 2020 when I graduated. So I'll say I started in 2019. And we'll just say I graduated in June 2020. If I was still a student, I could just click I'm currently a student. And then here I'm going to select the languages that I have a working knowledge. So whatever language I have a working knowledge in, I'm going to put it here. So let's say I know French. I'm going to put that there as well. And then the countries that I'm eligible to work in, I would enter that next. Let's say Canada. And
so, Sophia, before we continue to the next point, we have a couple questions in the chat. So we have our first question is, would you be able to just quickly explain your relation to Magnet again as they missed it the first time?
Okay, yeah, sure. So basically, Magnet is basically the way it was explained to me when I first joined the Ontario Chamber of Commerce is Magnet's kind of like the solar system, and DiscoverAbility Network is like one of the planets in there or one of the communities. So they have multiple different communities in there, but Discoverability Network is one of the communities that you can select to basically receive opportunities from. Sorry, I'm going to get a sip of water here.
Absolutely. So as I understand it, it sort of does have a space within, as you said, sort of that solar system. I know there's also other tools like the Hire Immigrants community and the Align tool for career exploration and planning. So this is another tool within that solar system
Exactly.
to help job seekers.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. And our second question is, if you upload a resume, does it automatically populate into the profile?
It will, but there's going to be pieces that you're still going to have to go back in and add to. So I'll show you, like, as we go through, like what I mean by that in terms of what you're going to have to actually add in. So it'll update or populate your resume, but it's not going to add things like this now, for example, like job preferences and skills, things that are going to actually help you in terms of getting matched to opportunities. So as I go through this, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about as we go through it. So are there any other questions before I continue?
No, that's all of them. Thank you.
All right. So job preferences, and this is kind of a newer feature. Basically what this is, so it says your job preferences can help you control the kinds of positions you're matched to. By specifying the kinds of positions you're looking for, you'll receive invitations to apply for those opportunities that match not only your qualifications, but also your career goals. So because I'm in the demo site, this already kind of saved for me, but it wouldn't save for you. So it says, what job level are you looking for? So you're going to basically add in all the things that you would be interested in receiving like matches on. So I'm going to select entry level or junior, mid-level, I'm going to say senior level, and hey, I'm going to even just say manager first level. This is private, like, so an employer wouldn't see this unless you make it public. Then I'm going to do the job type that I'm looking for. So you can select all or just pick ones that you're most interested in. So there's apprenticeship, contract, freelance. So I'm going to say I'm interested in contract freelance jobs. There's internship, permanent full-time, permanent part-time. I'm just going to select ones that I'd be interested in. I'm even going to select volunteer. So I'm interested in all these types of work. Then you're going to enter skilled trade if this is applicable to you. So that's things like, you know, a plumber, something, an electrician. Then I'm going to enter in where I would like to work. So this saved it from my last demo, sorry. So basically you're going to select where you would like to work. So I'm going to say I'm open to jobs in Toronto. You can adjust like the kilometers. So I'm going to say I'd be interested in jobs within 50 kilometers of the city center. And I'm going to add this location. I'm also interested in jobs in Mississauga. So I'm going to enter that. Now I'm going to do the same thing. You can adjust it to however you want in terms of the kilometers. I'm going to say I'm also interested in jobs in Brampton, and so on. So I'm going to just basically keep doing that for all the locations that I would be, you know, interested and willing to travel to, basically. And then the next thing on this screen is community preferences. So this is like what we were talking about, like as I said, DiscoverAbility Network is a community on Magnet. So it says in this section, you can set your preferences for which community or communities you're going to receive job invitations from. If you select send me invitations directed at any community, you'll receive job invitations directed at the broader Magnet community or network, sorry, and any communities you're affiliated with. So for that reason, we say leave it on this option, send me invitations directed at any community. Because if you change it and you say only send me invitations directed at the following communities, then you're only going to get like job invitations from those ones that you specifically selected. So you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Just leave it on send me invitations directed at any community. And then you're just going to say save and continue.
So we do have another question in the chat, which I think might be a good opportunity to talk a little bit about the privacy considerations. So the question is there a way to populate via LinkedIn profile? And then possibly just kind of also mentioning like what is visible or accessible publicly in terms of a discoverability profile?
Yeah, so I think when we went on this page, you can sign up with social media. So you would just select from there, and when you're setting it up initially. But in terms of what would be private, because I'm in the demo site now, it doesn't show you, but you'll be able to make those changes when you go through each section in terms of what can be private and public. So your self-identification is confidential, and your job preferences is confidential. That's private, but you can change the job preferences to make it public if you want. Everything else is confidential or private, sorry. I don't know.
Fantastic, thank you.
Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my voice here. I'm getting like frogs in my throat. I'm just gonna drink some more water.
Yeah, well, while you're grabbing a drink there, we do have one other question. Sure. Or clarification, asking, so it can grab profile content via LinkedIn if you use LinkedIn to sign in, or would you still have to copy and paste that over?
I would have to clarify that for you. To my understanding, it does, but I don't want to say for sure. So let me get back to you on that, and then I'll that way you'll know 100% because I don't want to say yes or no. As I've never actually signed in with the LinkedIn. I've always just created the profile with uploading a resume and doing it that way.
Okay.
So I'll get back to you on that.
So when you get back to us, for the folks who are registrants, when we send out the recording of the video, we will send that response from Sophia as well.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right, so now it says, great, John, you completed your profile, so I can start getting matched. But it's actually not done yet. So if I go to get started, this is what your dashboard will look like. So this here, it shows me notifications. This is where I'm going to be able to see like my job invites, any jobs that I've applied to, and like any important messages. So because this is on Magnet, like I said, you'll also see some important messages or any tweets by Magnet, and any other communities like that have information or messages will pop up here as well. Now, we're actually not done. So we have to go into our profile now. Now to go to the profile, you're gonna just click your the icon, like the face there, and go to My Profile. And I'm gonna show you what I mean here by us being not done. So back to that question where it was saying about someone asked about when we upload our resume, does it pre-populate everything? So yes, it does, but then we have to go back and add in some extra things. And this is what the whole platform is all about. So it says here on the right-hand column here, it says 3 more recommended fields. So it says high school academic experience, youth group volunteer, and experience cooperative education. So there's 3 things I need to update here. And so I'm not sure what it's asking me to do. So I'm gonna go in and see what I have to do here. So I'm just gonna start with the first one. It says high school academic. So I'm gonna click the edit icon here. And it's telling me it's recommended to add in these fields. Okay, so when did I start this diploma? So it didn't actually populate that because I just had my graduation date. So I mean, it's not really like a huge deal to not include this, but I mean, it does say it's recommended, so I'm just going to put it in here. So according to my resume that I had, my high school was September 2015, I'm going to say. So I'm just going to go and add that, and then I would have graduated in, let's say, June 2019. And I'm going to save that. And we'll see what happens now. after I saved that. So now it changed. It went from 3 to 2. So we're kind of getting through the things that I need to update here. So the next one is experience youth group volunteer. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go and edit this and see what it's asking me to do here. So it has my position information from my resume. It took the employer name, it took my job title, but this is what's different now. So now I get to actually add in the skills that I used in this, or the industry, sorry, that I used or that I worked in for this role. So for this role, it says I was a youth group volunteer, and I can just start typing in here anything that I feel would be applicable. So I'm just going to say social services here. That would be the most applicable. And if, you know, whatever your industry that's on your resume, you're going to pick something that matches like the best. And there's tons of options, so I'm sure you're definitely going to find something that is a really good match. And then what it's asking is, what were my job duties in this role? So again, these are the things that are going to help you get matched to opportunities. So you want to be as detailed as possible. So if I click this menu here, it's going to have a bunch of different options, and this list is very extensive as well. So I'm going to just start selecting all of the things that I would have done in this job. So as a youth group volunteer, I would have done some administration, I would have done client relations, communications, counseling. I would say like if daily operations I would have done. Anything that is applicable to what you did, you're going to just select everything that applies to you on what you did there.
Sophia, we have a question. Can you type in the duties free text, or do you have to choose just from the drop-down menu?
So you can start typing and it will just bring it up, whatever you're typing.
Okay, but it would need to be in the pre-selected list to populate.
Correct. That's
okay.
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just going to say those were the duties that I did, and then I'm going to click Save. So again, you can notice that now in the right hand column, it says one more recommended field. So it's updating it as we go along. So the last one is experience, and it's my co-op. So I'm going to go into co-op and see what it is that I have to do here. So I'm going to click Edit again. And it's the same thing. So it took my employer name, my job title, but now I got to add in the industry. So for this one, I'm just going to say this was a co-op. So I'm going to say education. And let's see which one would be the most applicable here. I would say maybe this, primary and secondary schools, academic departments and programs. And then what were my duties here? So I was a co-op education caregiver. So again, I'm going to just pick the things that I did in this role. So I'm going to say administration, curriculum, programs and courses, extracurricular activities. I did student academic and advisory support. And maybe I did some library services. And then we'll save it. So now it appears that we're done, but we're not actually done yet. We're almost there. We're getting there. So if you scroll down, there's a section here called Add Certifications and Licenses. So this is where you're going to want to add any certifications and licenses that you have. So on my resume, on this resume that I uploaded, it said I had my first aid. So I'm going to start to type that. And the certification will come up exactly as like the actual title of the certification. So I'm going to say the standard first aid. That was what was on this resume. And I'm going to say I also have my my G2. So I'm going to say class G2 driver's license. And again, your certifications and licenses are probably going to be far more extensive than what I'm putting in. So you're just going to add in everything that you have and then click Save. And then now it's saved those as well under my certifications and licenses section. And I'm going to do the same thing for skills and qualities. So I'm going to add some skills and qualities now. Now this is where you're going to add in things like, you know, maybe Microsoft Office. And this list is very, very extensive. You can just start typing and you could see there's tons of things here. So I'm going to type Microsoft Office. I'm going to say I have communications. I've got sales. Let's say sales negotiate. I'm just going to say everything that I have, like that I'm skilled in, I'm going to list it all here. Okay, academic writing, say health. And personal care and so on. So I'm going to just be adding those. You want to, again, be as detailed as possible and list as many things that are applicable to your skills. And then the last thing is qualities. And so for qualities, this is things like attention to detail, creative, customer-oriented, drive, effective communications, and so on. So positive attitude. We're going to basically put everything in there that's applicable. And I'm just going to say save. So now I've updated my work experience, I've added in my industries, my job duties, I've updated my education, my certifications and licenses, and all my skills and qualities as well.
Sophia, I have one question related to the high school criteria. So we may have some students who either haven't graduated high school a number of years ago, or we may have students who met the requirements for high school in a non-traditional way who may feel apprehensive about adding a detail like that in. Would they be able to skip that step if that was a consideration for them and still be able to move forward with the profile build?
Yeah, so you don't necessarily have to fill in these pieces here where it says recommended, like, because you're only really filling in the things that are required. So this can actually all be skipped altogether.
Okay, so it would be depending on your experience and what you're comfortable with sharing.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So now after I've updated everything, the last thing I'm going to want to do is I want to make my profile area here look a little bit more full. Like I feel like I should add something else here. So I'm going to click edit there, and you can upload your profile picture. Now you don't have to do this. I know some people don't feel comfortable with putting a profile picture, but we do recommend, like, if you don't have a profile picture, you can put something like maybe like an image that you like, something like that, just to add it in there to complete that part. So that part is done there. And then if I scroll down, again, over here is where I can make some changes as well to, if let's say I wanted to add something to work eligibility, let's say my work eligibility changed and I wanted to add additional areas, I can do that there. And then languages as well. So let's say now I've took a few courses and I've added Spanish to my languages. I'm going to make that change and I'm going to add that in there. And I'm just going to click save. And now it's complete. And I think as well, the last time I checked, you can add in a summary as well. I'm not sure why it's not letting me do that, because the last time I did a demo, I was able to add a summary. So I know you can add a summary. So just make sure you're adding in your summary as well, because that's kind of like the same thing like when you're on LinkedIn and you have that little description in your profile about your experience. It's always good to add a little blurb about that in terms of what your goals are and kind of what your kind of role you're seeking. So that is that in terms of how to create it. Now I'm going to go to the self-declaration. So remember somebody asked about how to do the self-declaration. So I would just basically click this self-declaration on the left-hand panel. And it says here, diversity self-declaration. So please select the groups you identify with from the drop-down list. If you do not identify with any of the listed groups, or you do not want to self-declare your eligibility under any of the listed groups, please select none or prefer not to declare. So it says information about self-declared status is used by some employers to reach out specifically to potential candidates in disadvantaged groups. Employers will search for self-declared candidates in order to promote diversity within their organizations. They do that because it creates a more innovative and inclusive workplace, which ultimately leads to better outcomes for all involved. And so it says opportunities for candidates who have self-declared are marked as diversity target posting. Your self-declarations will be visible only when you apply for positions that request applicants from a diversity target group that you identify with. So, and in each case, you will be asked for your consent to disclose. Your self-declarations will not be disclosed to employers when you are applying to jobs that are not marked as diversity target postings. Your self-declarations will be stored only in your account and will not appear on your profile. So this is where you're basically going to select it. Again, mine pre-populated here already because of the demo. So you basically would have to select. And then once you do that, the next thing that it shows underneath, it says disabilities information options. Now this like nobody sees this. This is just for you as a candidate if you want additional information on any of these topics. So you can either select one or all or none of them. It's up to you on what you want to select here. And then you would just click save.
Sophia, we did sort of see in there that there were a few other self-declare options in there. Could you speak to what a few of those other ones would be that they would perhaps be able to self-identify with in addition to?
Yeah, so there's Indigenous peoples, LGBTQ, members of a visible minority, and then women, and then newcomers to Canada as well.
Fantastic, thank you.
And if you do not want to self-identify, you just select the none or prefer to not declare.
Thank you.
Okay, so that is it for the self-declaration. And then the only other thing I think it's important to know is, when you're in your profile, after you have it all set up, you just, in order to kind of navigate through it all, if you want to go back to, the home page there or the dashboard where you can see all those messages, you're simply going to click home to get back here. If you, like I said, if you want to see the jobs that you've been invited to, you're going to just click there in that box there where it says job invites. And then when you do that, on the left-hand panel, there's also other options. So you can click job preferences, and the job preferences was what I talked about in the beginning in terms of the types of jobs that you're interested in getting matched to. So, whether that be entry-level jobs or mid-level or senior, you can kind of just go in and make changes to that over here. And just so you know, that's actually a very important section. And it's not, because I'm in the demo site, it's not showing me this, but under this box where it says notifications, there would be another box that says job preferences, and it would highlight for you any jobs that you've been matched to, but you actually missed based on your preferences. So it would kind of say to you, hey, John, you would have been matched to like these 3 jobs, but these jobs are located here. And in your preferences, you said that you're only looking for jobs in these 3 locations. And then you can actually go in and look at that job and be like, oh, okay, actually, you know what, I really like this job, and maybe I wouldn't mind working there. So you can go back to your job preferences and make those edits so that you kind of don't miss those opportunities. So it's really important to kind of keep an eye on that job preferences section. just in case you're missing out on some jobs that maybe you might be interested in. Does that part make sense? Because that is a newer feature, and I think it's really important, and it offers like a lot of advantages, I think, in terms of, you know, ensuring you have even more matches. Okay, so if there aren't any other questions on that, that's okay.
No, there's no questions in the chat at this time.
Okay. So, and then the last thing is just as I go through the rest of the options here in the panel, on the left-hand panel, this is just job bookmarks. So any jobs that you've bookmarked will be here. Job invites, again, you can see them on the left-hand panel or from the box on the main page. And then any applications that you've applied to will be under My Applications. And then any files that you're uploading, so your resumes. And I had a question from one of my previous sessions, like somebody had asked, and I thought it was a really good question. Can you put you know, different resumes on your profile? And yeah, you can. You can actually add in different resumes. So let's say, you know, you have a resume that's more of like a customer service type resume, or you have a resume that's more like admin focused, and you want to add those, you can add all of those different resumes there, and then you'll just, you know, whenever you're applying to a job, you use your, you know, admin resume or your customer service resume. And that's basically it. So are there any other questions before now I go back to, I just want to kind of go back to the slides and show you, and just talk a little bit very briefly about like some upcoming webinars, and then who to contact if you are setting up your profile and you're having you have some questions or you need some assistance.
So we do have a question in the chat. Mel is asking, I noticed some fields say if an option doesn't exist, you can hit enter to add. Is that for all fields? My field is relatively emerging in user experience design, so sometimes information is not available or well known yet.
Yes, so some of them are. That's a very good question, and I'll show you where you can do that. I think in my education, I don't remember if I actually did, I thought I added it in my education, but maybe I missed that part. Oh yes, okay, so here under institution, so this is, I think this is kind of what you're referring to. This is just an example of one of those sections. So if I wanted to change it to the actual school that I attended, so on this resume it said that I went to the North Toronto Collegiate School. So if I click to enter, or if I press enter, it'll put it into the drop down, and now I can select it, and then it will save it as my institution. So yes, some of the fields you can do that, not all of them, but some of them, wherever it says, you can click to you can enter. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, it looks like from the, yes.
Okay, all right, perfect.
So to summarize, it may be in some, but not all. So look for that prompt that says hit enter to add in that case.
Exactly.
Okay,
yep.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions before I get back to the slides?
We do have one more question. Can we add more than one education institution?
Yes, I believe
So
you
if
can.
you have, for example, a diploma and a degree, would you be able to put multiple post-secondary experiences in your profile?
Yes, I believe you can do that. Let me just see here. I changed this. I'm just, because I think I did this the last time too. Yeah. So I just want to test this out. So let's just say I'm just totally testing this out to see, because I did it last time, and it should show me how to do that, or it should, sorry, add it, and I just want to confirm that it does it. So let's just see. It may not work because sometimes when I'm in the demo, it doesn't allow me, but let's see. Yeah, no, see, it did it. So we still have the academic, and we have now the undergraduate degree. So you can, for sure.
Fantastic. Thank you. And that's all of the questions that we have in the chat for now. So if you wanted to go back to the PowerPoint.
All right. So let me. I'm just going to stop sharing here. And oh, where did my PowerPoint go?
I will bring it back up for you.
So basically, I was just going to let you all know about some upcoming webinars. So, and then how to actually contact us if you are having questions on setting up your profile, and you just, sometimes when you go into it after, you always kind of have a few more questions afterwards. So if you do run into any difficulties and you want any assistance with creating your profile, you can contact my colleague, Boyan. So the email is here as well. So it's boyanmitrovic@occ.ca. And so, as I was mentioning, we do have some webinars. We have weekly job seeker webinars every Thursday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. And we do have some coming up for the rest of March that I can kind of tell you about, so that you're aware. If you're interested in any of them, you can join in. So this Thursday, March 11th, we have a good session on job search during COVID. And one of the guest speakers that we have is a senior talent advisor from SoftChoice that will be joining us. So that will be a really good one to join. And then on the 18th, we also have, the one on the 18th is with SoftChoice. So job search during COVID is this Thursday. And then the one on March 18th is creating a professional brand. And that is with our guest speaker from SoftChoice, Senior Talent Advisor. And then on the 25th of March, we have professionalism in social media. So these sessions, these job seeker webinars, the topics range and they're always changing. So it's something to kind of keep in mind. And if you follow us on social media, if you follow us on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, you'll kind of be in the loop in terms of what our upcoming events are as well. And then in terms of any with COVID now, it's been a little bit difficult to do more networking type events. That was kind of one thing that we really were hoping to expand on this year, but then COVID hit last year, and then COVID hit. I can't believe it's already been a year.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, that was one of the things we were kind of really hoping to expand on. So when we do have those type of events, we will definitely always post those on social as well. But one of our employer partners is hosting an event, and they've actually changed the date. They were supposed to do it at the end of March, but now it's been pushed to the end of April. And this is more so for anyone who has like an interest and background in retail banking. And it's basically to learn more about the organization and the types of roles that they are going to be kind of hiring for in the future. So this is mostly, I guess, for graduates, because these are all like full-time roles. So it's roles like financial advisors and senior financial advisors, small business advisors. So if anyone is interested in those types of opportunities and you have that background, like that's something to keep in mind as well. And you can definitely share your resume, and I can share that with the employer for further review. Basically, they're reviewing the candidates, and they will shortlist the candidates and invite all shortlisted candidates to that event. So any other events that I'm aware of, or any other panel type events where we have employer speakers, again, just follow us on social media so that you stay in the loop on all of those. We have a lot of great things coming up, so it's definitely in your best interest to follow us so that you don't miss any. So that's basically it. Like, I mean, I hope, I know a lot of you had already listened to previous presentations about discoverability before, but for anyone who hasn't, or even if you did listen to those presentations before, I hope you found this session to be valuable in terms of how to create your profile. Again, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out. And yeah, I just hope you consider the Discoverability Network as an additional tool to assist you in your job search. So again, thank you so much for having me today, and thank you for attending.
Thank you so much. That was amazing information, so helpful, very detailed, and really showing the ins and outs of navigating the system for the first time as a new user. So we're getting some messages of thanks in the chat. So some students really grateful for the information you're sharing today. If students wanted to get in touch with you directly, where would be the best way for them to do that?
Let me just put my information in the chat. You can feel free to just contact me via email directly.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again so much for joining us, Sophia. This session has been really helpful. Again, for those of you who joined us later, we are recording this session. So if you missed the first section of the presentation, you can certainly watch it from the beginning when we send it out to the registrants in the next couple of days. If you want to follow the Discoverability Network, make sure that you're following these social media handles up on the screen here. Sophia, again, thank you so much. To our captioner, Cindy, thank you so much for supporting the event. We really appreciate having these events and providing this opportunity for students to expand their job search strategy and utilizing these fantastic tools. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining. We hope you have a safe and fantastic week. Bye for now.